Yes.
I remember my article on it. I titled it Cabinet Coup d'etat. So what is it about this white paper that too many people are so unhappy with?
Thank you so very much, Samson. Indeed, we don't have time, so I'm not going to give the facts of the case of the Wagon by-election, which led to the establishment of the commission, because the facts are well known. So the report was submitted on the 14th of March, and by the constitutional injunction, the president had within 6 months to issue the report and a white paper. Now, the government has subsequently issued a white paper, and the white paper, with the greatest respect, is an exercise in dishonesty. The white paper has sought to supplant the commission by giving its side of the story. And you can see it even from the first opening paragraph of the white paper. Nowhere in the Commission of Inquiry report did they establish that the violence that took place at Ayoaso West Wuogon constituency was as a result of a press conference given by the chairman of the NDC and confirmed by Honorable Sam George. Nowhere. But look at the white paper. The opening paragraph. In the morning of 31st January 2019, barely a few hours after voting had commenced in the Ayoaso West Wuogon constituency Ayoaso West Wuogon by-election, following the death of Honorable Member of Parliament Mr. Emmanuel Chermetena Jaku, the national chairman of the opposition NDC, Mr. Samuel Ofosu Ampofo, addressed a press conference where he alleged that the NDC parliamentary candidate and 6 party agents and accredited observers had been shot by the invisible forces who have been given national security uniform, resulting in serious injuries. These men, according to the national chairman, and blah, 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 they say that these allegations, paragraph 2, these allegations which caused widespread national alarm and outrage led the president of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to appoint a commission of inquiry. That's the white paper that is saying so.
Yeah, the white paper, is that not the view of government on the matter?
Are they saying, just hold on.
That's the white paper.
Yeah, are they saying that's what
the white
commission
paper is
said?
telling us?
Hold on, let him finish.
The white paper is telling us that it is because Samuel Ofosu Ampofo gave a press conference, which press conference led to violence.
No, I'm not sure.
But that's it. I'm reading from the white paper.
No, please, go.
I'm reading from the white paper. I'm not reading from anywhere. Paragraph 2. No, you see, and because of that, I have gone back to the Constitution. And what is the white paper? What is a white paper? According to Black Law Dictionary, a white paper is a policy document. For our purposes, the white paper, which is by law under Article 2803, the president has to issue when publishing the report, is to give an indication of the standing of government in relation to the report. It is not intended. It is not intended to substitute for the report.
Yeah,
No. So, no. In fact, no matter what objections the government had to the findings of the committee of inquiry, those findings still stand by the Constitution. And Article 283 is clear. 283 is very clear on this matter. And so any adverse finding made against anybody, irrespective of the fact that the white paper has said, no, we don't agree, does not operate to remedy or overturn the findings of adverse findings made against the person. That is the Constitution.
Okay.
And it's stated. So you go to 3. The president shall, subject to clause 4 of this article, cause to be published the report of a commission of inquiry together with a white paper on it within 6 months after the date of the submission of the report by the commission. 4. Where the report of a commission of inquiry is not published, the President shall issue a statement to that effect, giving reasons why the report is not to be published. Look at 5. A finding of a commission of inquiry shall not have effect of a judgment of the higher court, as provided under clause 2 of this article, unless 1. 6 months has passed after the finding is made and announced to the public, or B. the government issues a statement in the Gazette or in the national media that it does not intend to issue the white paper on the report of the commission, whichever is earlier. When does your right accrue to challenge the findings? Your right to accrue to challenge the findings, irrespective of A or B, is the right to appeal conferred on clause 2 of this article on a person against whom a finding has been made, shall be exercised within 3 months after the occurrence of either of the events described in clause 5. That is, the government has published the report in the white paper, or the government has refused to publish the white paper. That is when you're right. So it means that the findings in the report, irrespective of a publication of a white paper or not, stands. And your right to challenge the findings accrues 3 months after the publication or otherwise. In this case, 3 months after the publication, your right to challenge the findings is established. So no matter what they have said here, to all intents and purposes, it gives us government stance on the Commission of Inquiry. But what is more worrying is government's attempt in its white paper to attack the integrity of the commissioners. Government is saying in this white paper that the commissioners failed to appreciate the import of the terms of reference that was given to them. It is because, in its view, that the commissioners failed to appreciate the import of the terms of reference and the remit of the terms of reference. That's why they failed to address their mind to the role played by Samuel Ofosu Ampofo. That's what government is saying in this white paper. And that's why they have brought it in. In fact, when you read this white paper as a lawyer, you come to the conclusion that what government has sought to do is to use this white paper as an appeal over the findings of the Commission of Inquiry and set up the appeal and exonerate the persons, constitute themselves into a judge and a jury, or if you want in the ordinary man's words, a clearing agent. That's what this white paper has sought to do. And that is what is more...
Let's understand something. And law practitioner and teacher Justice Stremsai wrote this. Mm-hmm. I want to read it to you, mm-hmm, and then find out if that is your position.
Okay.
And then Kwenka will also tell us if this is an accurate position.
Okay.
He says, Justice Stremsai, he teaches the law at GIMPA. He says, the president seems to have mistaken the Short Commission for one of his numerous investigative committees that he often sets up in his office. By way of a reminder, a commission of inquiry is a constitutional judicial body whose adverse findings against individuals, when published, apply as a court judgment. This on the face, we all know this. Mm-hmm. Indeed, the law allows the president to reject the recommendations of a commission of inquiry. In doing so, the president may, through a white paper, give reasons. What the president has done in the Short case, however, is profusely confuse a recommendation with a finding. A finding is a product of a judicial process. It derives from the judicial power that the Constitution confers on the Commission. A recommendation, on the other hand, is what the Commission entreats the President to do with its findings. A recommendation is therefore merely political, not judicial. Being political, the President can reject a recommendation and then give a policy reason for doing so. What the President is not entitled to do, however, is to constitute himself into an appellate judicial body over the Commission, reviewing the merits of its findings or reversing them There are two reasons for this, and he gives them very shortly. One, the commission, as I've already said, is a quasi-judicial constitutional body whose adverse findings against individuals are judicial in nature. The president has no authority to exercise judicial power, let alone a final one in this regard. Two, the Constitution expressly reserves such appellate judicial powers for the Court of Appeal, not the president.
Exactly.
He seems to suggest
Yes.
that the president has committed an anathema, a sin that cannot be forgiven.
Forgive at all. It's an egregious violation of the tenets of the Constitution. Look at 281. The Commission of Inquiry shall make a full, faithful, and impartial inquiry into any matter specified in the instrument of appointment. In this particular case, C111. Report in writing the result of the inquiry, and C, furnish in the report the reasons leading to the conclusions stated in the report.
Okay.
So recommendations, yes, they are up for recommendations. Government can reject the recommendations, but he cannot reject a finding of fact.
So
and he cannot reject it because...
Question now is what should be done or what ought to be done. There are groups that are asking he should withdraw the white paper and actually giving deadlines to the president.
To be honest with you, Samson, when I was reading the white paper, I was tempted to believe that this was not a white paper originating from the Attorney General's office until I finished reading the paper and I saw the Attorney General's signature. Because you can't by the white paper, constitute yourself into
what should
an
be done? Let's move forward. What can be done or what should be done to cure the problem you say you have identified with the white paper?
Well, so the president could, I don't know what can be done now that there's no precedent. You see, if the president, you see, this white paper, again, reading it, I thought the president, if he had these feelings, should have exercised the second option.
Which is?
Not issuing a white paper.
Not issuing a white paper.
Yes.
Okay.